My name is Amy Brown with Better Ballot Iowa, and I am now going to hand it off to Carrie Lane, who is going to do an introduction to ranked choice voting. Carrie, take it away.
So let's start off by telling you a story in 3 ballots. So let's imagine that we have a hypothetical election between candidate A and a dumpster fire. So who do you pick? Well, this mock ballot is probably familiar to most folks because it's the feeling that voters have when they go to the ballot box. And it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on, you probably feel as though most elections are a choice between a party that you support or maybe you just tolerate and one that you consider absolutely unthinkable. Now, let me ask you, what's wrong with that picture? There's no real choice. The purpose of voting is to hold elected officials accountable, right? But is candidate A really accountable to you? I mean, he knows you're going to vote for him no matter what. And then on the other hand, is the dumpster fire accountable to you? And that's also a hard no. They know that you'll never vote for them. Politicians don't have to worry about earning your vote if your vote is unchangeable. So imagine this here. So candidate A is caught in a really gross scandal. It's not enough to take them out of the race, but I mean, who should you vote for? I mean, if you've ever bought a house or a car or even bargained for something in a market, you know that your power is in the ability to walk away. If you have other options, if you can walk away, the burden is on the salesperson to convince you to stay. They need to be responsive to your needs. But many Americans are so politically polarized that, the other side is just unthinkable. That means that they don't really have a viable alternative. Their vote is a given, regardless of how good or bad of a job the winning candidate actually does. So does this actually create accountability? Now, you might ask, could there be a candidate that will represent me and all my interests? The answer is yes. In fact, you've probably seen that candidate before. So let's see what happens when we add them to our current voting system. So new election, same 2 candidates, but this time, sick of a lack of choices, a new candidate enters the race. And this is someone that you really like, but they're running as an independent. So now it's a 3-way race. And there's 2 candidates you're okay with, and then there's one that you're scared to death of. So who do you pick? Now, you're probably worried about what's called vote splitting. If 2 candidates share a base, the new candidate could take enough votes away from candidate A to hand the victory to the dumpster fire. Under our current voting system, whenever there are more than 2 candidates in a race, there's a possibility that someone opposed by the majority of all voters will win. Or, you could reframe that to where it's even worse. That's the one that most people didn't want. And this just plainly stinks. We have a voting system where adding more and better choices actually makes the situation worse. You want to vote for the candidate you really like, but like the ghost of elections future, you hear this voice, you threw away your vote. Now, it doesn't have to be like that. A small tweak to the ballot changes the story significantly. So enter ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting is a system that lets you rank as many candidates as you like in order of preference. You pick the candidate you really want, followed by a series of backup choices. If your first choice is eliminated, your vote gets transferred to the next choice. The process is repeated until a candidate receives a majority of in-play votes. Now, in this example ballot, you put your favorite candidate as your first choice, followed by candidate A. And you don't even have to rank the dumpster fire if you don't want to. And this is important. You can vote your conscience without the terror and anxiety of vote splitting. But think about what that means for politics beyond your own personal ballot. Ranked choice voting minimizes the problem of the spoiler effect. It makes majority winners more likely. And under competitive elections, winners are more likely to be candidates who can build the biggest coalition and be responsive to a larger base. Ranked choice voting better reflects the will of the public. Without fear of spoiling election, new candidates can enter or safely enter a race, and voters can vote for them without fear of wasting their vote. And now this opens our political process up to the possibility of more competition, new voices, and new ideas. And these are qualities that the country desperately needs. So it's easy to overpromise on political reforms. Ranked choice voting does not guarantee positive change. It opens a door to new possibilities. And those possibilities are close to us now by a system that is gridlocked, uncompetitive, and divides Americans against each other. First, we have to get that door open, but we also invite you to imagine what steps we can take once that door is open. How do we work together across differences and partisan divide to make a system that truly works for all Iowans? It's an exciting possibility. Now I'm going to hand it over to Matt to explain a little bit more about Better Ballot Iowa.
Thank you, Carrie. So Better Ballot Iowa, who are we? Well, we're a newly formed group. We were founded just March of this year. We are 100% Iowa founded and grassroots, with all of the challenges that presents, having an all volunteer organization. Well, I just gave away the next bullet point. We're entirely volunteer based. We're nonpartisan. We very much want to reach out to voters on all sides of the spectrum, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, Third Party, or just an independent. And above all, as a group, we're just getting started. We see this as a long-term investment, and we want to build political change over the next several years. So Better Ballot Iowa is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. That means that donations to our group are tax deductible. Our mission is actually educational rather than explicitly political, and that's a strategic decision. Let me ask you folks, what do you think is the biggest obstacle to getting ranked choice voting passed in Iowa or in America in general? A lot of folks often say that getting ranked choice voting passed is a challenge because you're fighting an uphill battle against vested interests and corruption and corporate money. And those things are all certainly true. Getting it passed is not going to be easy. But as a lot of the folks said in the chat, the biggest obstacle is a lack of awareness. I would venture to say that 95% of all Iowa voters have never heard of ranked choice voting. And having done quite a bit of canvassing, I can say that's a pretty accurate figure. And so our first goal before we even move forward politically is to get Iowans excited about this issue. Well, a lot of groups put the cart before the horse. They try to engage in a legal enactment campaign early on. They start talking to leaders in their state legislature before they really have grown into a movement with the ability to actually influence that legislature. And I'll point out that here in Iowa, we are not a ballot initiative state. So passing ranked choice voting is going to require a bill passed by the state house and state senate and signed by the governor. That is not a small task. But before we can even get there, we need to build capacity. And so our strategy is focused on what I would call phase one of this three-stage plan. And that means a complete dedicated focus to building three things. One is people. We need tens of thousands of supporters throughout the state in every county and in every voting district. Money. In order to run an organization, in order to do outreach, in order to pay for advertisement and all of the infrastructure that's needed. It's a sad reality of politics, but you need money. It's just a practical fact. And last but not least, and this leg is certainly very important for a legislative state like Iowa, we need endorsements. We need public figures. We need community leaders, business leaders, thought leaders throughout the state of Iowa who are willing to sign on and put their name by this issue. And to a large extent, if we can build a list of hundreds, even thousands of those leaders, we'll have some of the pressure points we need to make it to that next stage. In just 7 months, we've already built a tremendous amount of capacity. We started just 6 or 7 of us, and we've already got a list that's almost up to 600. We've got 62 donors and 97 volunteers who meet in various working groups on a regular basis. We've gone out to 20 different events to canvass. And our speakers board is starting to populate our calendar for January on with speaking engagements throughout the states. So we've made tremendous growth, but this is really just the beginning. What we're really hoping to do is expand exponentially. And this may look crazy to you all, but I would point out that several states throughout America have already passed ranked choice voting. And in the case of both Maine and Alaska, if you were to look at their growth curve, if you were to look at their list of supporters and at their organizations, what got them from A to B was a growth curve that looked just like this. It is a hard thing to do, but it is very doable. And it's satisfying because we are working in an issue that no one's heard of. So it's ours to grow and expand. Our current growth cycle is focused on building new supporters, calling them, onboarding volunteers, and repeating this process. But in order to do all of this, above all else, we need volunteers. I know for a lot of you, there are lots of issues to get involved in, but I'd like you to close your eyes and for a moment and picture that one issue that speaks to you above all else. Now, I want to point out that our ability to make any progress on that issue or any other issue you can think of is held hostage by the fact that our political system isn't working. And so our involvement in changing how politics works in Iowa is a critical first step, and it's a doorway to anything else you can care about. So you can help us make history by becoming a volunteer. I just want to point out that we have a tremendous amount of opportunities ranging from outward facing, if you're the sort of person that likes to pound the pavement, talk to voters, but also a lot of behind the scenes jobs like tech management, website design, data management. And we also have a variety of opportunities in terms of time commitment and scope. So as this meeting progresses, we're going to go to breakout rooms, and actually I'm going to be leading the breakout room for new members. So if you're interested in getting involved, we can talk, I can get to know you, and we can talk about ways that you can jump on board and become a voting reform superhero.
All right, well, welcome back, everyone. I hope your breakout conversations were productive. Now we're going to hear from Justin, who leads our live outreach team. Justin, you want to take it away?
So this Saturday, the 23rd, we will be at the Iowa City's Farmers Market at 10 a.m. But I would particularly like to gather everyone's attention to the 27th and my second event here. Andrew Yang will be coming to Des Moines to promote his new book. And for those of you that don't know, Andrew Yang has been a supporter of ranked choice voting for a while. And we believe that this would be a great opportunity to recruit, his supporters who probably already support this. So, and also to, get to, recruit around a significant political figure. So there's that. And then also further out in the calendar, if you guys need more of a heads up, November 26th, we're going to be at the Cedar Rapids Gun Show. So those are our 3 events that we have planned currently to go on canvas. Every week, we also have call parties on Monday and Tuesday to welcome and process the signups that we get from our canvassing events. Those are from 6 to 7. Additionally, on those days, if you want to help but can't do it during that time or want to be by yourself, just let us know and we can give you the information. You can do it on your own time. And also, we will have a social that some of you guys just experienced, kind of like the experience we just had in the breakout room, where we can all get together and have fun. So that'll be next Friday, 29th, 7 to 8. And for all of these, you can RSVP just on the website. That's betterballotiiowa.org. And also, if you have any canvassing ideas, you can send that to us at volunteers@betterballotiiowa.org, or just send that to me directly. That'll be awesome. So yeah, and any questions on that at all? Any comments from anyone? No? Awesome. So I am going to send this over to Brandon now, and he can give his quick chat.
Thanks for that, Justin. Let's see if this is on. I heard that it's more inviting, more welcoming whenever people can see my face. It does exist. As you can see, I have put kind of a makeshift wall if you were here last month. It's kind of there. Anyways, I do the fundraising portion, which means I get to sit here and, you know, beg and plead for money kind of thing. But in an actual sense, we need funds to basically run this thing. And in a sense that, you know, we run ads, we do these fun events. And what the fundraising does is it helps us, let's say, provide gas for those that are actually going to be traveling from, whether it be Des Moines, Ames, all the way up to Cedar Rapids or other locations if we're going to go out to Iowa City and whatnot. So every little bit helps because we can make these events happen all around Iowa. We have a very broad appeal to a lot of voters, and just being able to get to and from helps significantly. And the difference between, you know, having an extra 15 or 20 bucks a month is, you know, maybe a tank of gas to get an hour or so away somebody, if that maybe wasn't going to go originally. On top of that, it's ad money too. So, I mean, if you have seen any of the dank memes that we post every now and again on Facebook and run those as ads, they're fantastic. I make those, they're great. But more importantly, ads get us engagement. We went to, there was an event that we went to recently, and we had, I'll have Matt touch on this in a second, but I think it was the Women's March. They recognized our logo and our signs just from ads on Facebook. And we got a significant amount of signups just from name recognition alone. And so that's what the funds go to, is they go to help build our base. They go to just kind of meeting our standards of operations and any day-to-day activities. So anything you can spare as far as $5, $10 a month is significant in our eyes, and we cannot thank you enough. They're going to drop the link right now in the chat. It's super easy and square. You can literally just put in, like, you know, $5, $10, $20 one-time donations, or you can actually just do a monthly recurring. That's what I prefer, just because, you know, if I'm not going to use $5 a month, then I just let it kind of go out of my bank account. You know, the statement will come around to me and I'll remember it eventually. But, you know, if I'm not going to miss $5, I'm not going to miss $5. And if you're the same way, I encourage you to be, you know, as generous with your money, you know, with your $5 as you can be. With that, I will turn it over to the next person.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon. And thank you to all of our donors who are funding the mission to educate Iowans about ranked choice voting. The journey isn't possible without the financial support or the volunteer support. And as you saw in Matt's presentation earlier, growing from our 7 supporters to 750 since March is pretty amazing. But we've got a lot more Iowans to reach. And so it's going to take more volunteers and more money. So thank you for whatever it is you can do. We really appreciate it. Wanted to let you know that we do meet every month on the 3rd Thursday at 8 p.m. And so for next month, that'll be November 18th. So that'll be before your Thanksgiving holiday, if that's when you celebrate. Although in our breakout room, I don't remember anybody saying that was their favorite. And I do like to eat, so it can be a close second for me. And so as we close here tonight, I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend, because grassroots movements really take the commitment, energy, and support of so many citizens. And so we appreciate you. We appreciate your time. And if you would like to stay on this call as we close out the official portion of the meeting, please do so. We're just going to hang out and get to know each other, chat, ask questions, anything that came up for you. But if not, Samantha's dropped in the link already so you can register for the statewide. So lots of opportunities that Sam's dropped in for us tonight, the calendar, so you can help with any of our live outreach events, which is where we gain our supporters. Donating, setting up on that recurring schedule is really easy. Or signing up again for our statewide just to stay engaged and know what's going on next month. So again, thank you all for your time and attention. And for those of you staying on, we'll see you in a bit, or we'll keep chatting. And for those of you leaving, have a great night and thank you.